Today on the Daily Scoop podcast from the Scoop News Group, Congress adopts digital tools proposed at a 2023 hackathon, and a bipartisan bill to boost oversight of agency digital services clears a Senate panel. It's Thursday, September 19th, 2024. Welcome to the Daily Scoop podcast, where you'll hear the latest news and trends facing government leaders. I'm the host of the Daily Scoop podcast, Billy Mitchell. Thanks so much for joining me. Here are today's top headlines. The annual congressional hackathon is Thursday, and ahead of it, FedScoop is reporting that 2 of the 5 top recommendations from last year's event have been implemented and others are on their way to being realized. Steve Dwyer, Senior Director for Innovation at the House Office of the Chief Administrative Officer, told FedScoop that the 2 completed and now implemented projects are an internal unified House calendar that was launched in July and an internal social media tracking tool that was announced in recent weeks by the CAO to compare lawmakers' social media statistics. The annual event brings together lawmakers, staffers, and technologists for a large-scale brainstorming session on tech-driven ideas that could solve problems faced by the legislative branch. First held in 2011, the Congressional Hackathon has gradually become more and more of a fixture for congressional modernization efforts, providing a launchpad for ideas like providing access to raw legislative data and digitizing casework. It's now been held annually since 2022, and last year formally gained institutional support from the House Office of the Chief Administrative Officer. In other news, a bipartisan House bill aimed at improving customer service interactions with government technology breezed through a key Senate panel Wednesday, putting it one step closer to becoming law. The Government Service Delivery Improvement Act passed the Senate Homeland, Security, and Governmental Affairs Committee by an 11-0 tally, setting it up for a vote before the full chamber. The bill, first introduced by Representatives Khanna, Byron Donalds, Loudermilk, and William Timmons in the House last October, passed that chamber in May. The legislation tasks agency heads with designating a senior official to oversee service delivery improvements and charges the Office of Management and Budget with choosing a senior official to coordinate government-wide efforts on the issue. Khanna said in an email to FedScoop that the bill will, quote, make it easier and more efficient than ever for Americans to access government services, including Social Security retirement benefits, Medicare health coverage, veterans benefits, and student loans. For more news at the intersection of the federal government and technology, visit fedscoop.com. Thanks so much for tuning in to another episode of the Daily Scoop podcast, available on all podcast platforms. If you've already rated the podcast on your platform of choice, thanks so much. High ratings and good reviews of the show help more people to find it. The Daily Scoop podcast is a production of the Scoop News Group in Washington, D.C. Adam Butler and Carlin Fisher help put the show together, and the entire Scoop News Group team contributes. We'll be off tomorrow and back with more top headlines next week. Until then, I'm your host, Billy Mitchell. Thanks so much for listening.